Hi everyone, David Aragona here, taking a look at one of the graded stakes on the Travers Day undercard Saturday at Saratoga. Actually, the first graded stakes of the day, going as race 4. It is the Grade 2 Ballston Spa, going a mile and a 16th on the turf course for the fillies and mares. Just a field of 5 signed on for this one, and as has kind of been typical in these graded stakes on the turf at the Saratoga meet, a strong presence from the Chad Brown stable. He has 3 of the 5 runners in this race: the number 2 Lamista, the number 4 Fluffy Socks, and the even money morning line favorite, the number 5 Technical Analysis, who is coming off a strong performance in the Grade 1 Diana earlier in the meet. 2 taking shots against that Chad Brown 3-headed monster, the High Opinion, the number 1, and our Flash Drive, the number 3 from the Tony Dutrow and Mark Cassie stables. Pretty evenly matched group, though. Technical Analysis clearly the one to beat, primarily due to this Timeform US pace projector that we'll take a look at next. You can see the favors on or near the lead blue bar showing up, indicating it's a situation that's likely to favor the early front runner, and that is supposed to be the number 5 Technical Analysis. She just has superior tactical speed to her runners and to her rivals in this race, and she's coming off performance where she had to rate last time in the Diana, but she's run plenty of nice efforts controlling races on the front end. She has a lot of victories achieved that way, so I would imagine that she will be going forward from her outside post position under jockey Jose Ortiz. Let's take a look at Technical Analysis' last race when she was second into that Grade 1 Diana. As I said, she rated in this race, coming from just off the pace, made a nice move into contention around the far turn, but could never quite reel in her stablemate in Italian, who just freaked on the front end this day. In Italian led every step of the way, set a track record in winning this race. The turf course was pretty hard and firm earlier in the meet, but in Italian just put in a huge effort in Technical Analysis, could never quite get to her that day. Still, a really nice performance from the runner-up. You can see those red color-coded Timeform US pace figures. So Jose Ortiz definitely made the right move in rating her that day. Just couldn't quite get to the leader in the stretch. Got a 120 Timeform US speed figure, matching the number that she earned winning the Grade 3 Gallarette at Pimlico in her prior start. That Gallarette performance was actually flattered by the runner-up Crystal Cliffs, who came right back to dead heat in a strong running of the Nassau, the Grade 2 event at Woodbine, in her next race. So Technical Analysis coming in with rock solid form lines and is just simply the filly to beat and the one to catch in this Ballston Spa. 2 of the other Chad Brown runners in this field are both coming out of the Grade 3 Matchmaker at Monmouth Park. Let's take a look at the stretch run of that race, where Lamista was able to hold off Fluffy Socks as they come through the stretch. Lamista got the slightly better trip than Fluffy Socks because she was 2 wide most of the way, whereas Fluffy Socks was 3 wide, mostly without cover for her entire trip. That said, Fluffy Socks did get to her at the top of the stretch and just could never quite forge past her stablemate, Lamista, getting her first victory in the United States since coming over from Ireland into the Chad Brown stable. A horse that had looked, when she first made her debut in this country back in the 2021 Beaugay, like she might be sitting on a big U.S. campaign. It never quite panned out for her there. She lost 5 races in a row for the Chad Brown stable. Finally got that victory last time at odds of 9-2 in the Matchmaker. But like I said, got the right trip in that race, sitting close up to a pace where some of those figures are color-coded in blue, a slow clip up front in that Matchmaker. It's going to be tough for her to upset her stablemate Technical Analysis because she just hasn't quite been as good as a few of her Chad Brown trained stablemates in some prior starts. Is going to have to step it up a little bit from a speed figure standpoint, but she's definitely one that could work out the right trip if she shows that same tactical speed that we saw from her last time in the Matchmaker. Fluffy Socks, who was second in that race in New Jersey last time. Another horse that has had some trouble finding the winner's circle recently. She's coming off of 5 losses in a row, something you don't like to see for the Chad Brown barn. 3 of those in her last 4 starts have been runner-up finishes, but she's an honest, hard-trying sort. Just feels like she's maybe a cut below these from a quality standpoint, but she is one that will be running late if any pace develops up front. Just, I'm a little skeptical that that will happen given the lack of speed that appears to be signed on in this race. The 2 others that are coming from different stables, both are not without a chance. One of those is our Flash Drive, who's coming off a victory in the De La Rose earlier in the Saratoga meet. We'll take a look at the stretch run of that race, and I thought this was a really good performance from our Flash Drive. She's a horse who generally makes her own good trips because she's got a versatile running style. She can be sat close up to the pace or come from a little farther off it. In this race, she was stalking 3 wide the entire way, so I do want to give her some credit for covering ground around both turns, and she draws claws off pretty convincingly through the stretch to get the job done by about a length on the wire here. A horse that's just been in great form all year long for Mark Casse was a good second to Rougier when it seemed like that one was going to turn out to be the leader of this division back in the Beaugay in May, but she followed it up with a good third place finish in a tough stakes race up at Woodbine two back. So just a horse that's been cycling up into really strong form all year long. Did get a really high time formula speed figure of 122 in the De La Rose last time. That's a number that you might want to view with a little bit of skepticism because there was a gigantic pace upgrade in that race, a tough race to make a speed figure for because they went so slowly up front early in that race and just sprinted home. So kind of one that we don't have full confidence in, but definitely if our flash drive runs back to that 122, she's one that you want to consider at her 4-1 morning line odds. One more horse to consider is the Rail Drawn Runner. That's the number one High Opinion. And let's just take a look at the Ballston Spa from last year because High Opinion almost won this race in 2021. Trying to sneak up the rail in the stretch. She will fall just a neck short to the Chad Brown trained Viadera on this day. A great ride from jockey Louis Saez. You can see High Opinion just a little bit reluctant to go through that hole inside for maybe a few strides, finally gets up in there and just is going to lose a heartbreaking nose decision on the wire in this race. Unfortunately, High Opinion is not coming into this race looking quite as strong as she did last year. Some spotty form. She did finish a pretty good third in the Beaugay three-back when just a nose behind our flash drive that day. I think that's the best performance we've seen from her so far in 2022, but she followed it up with a pretty easy win at Parks, two-back, a lower speed figure that day. And then last time, pretty disappointing as the even money favorite in an optional claiming race at Saratoga. Maybe had a minor excuse, some traffic trouble, a bit of a slow pace that day, but still, she was supposed to run better in that spot against weaker competition. She's going to be the biggest price in here, so I don't want to totally dismiss her because she has stepped up against tougher company before, like in that Ballston Spa last year, but it's going to be a tall order to run down the favorite technical analysis. Let's throw my picks for this race, and I'm not trying to beat the favorite. Technical analysis just looks a little bit too tough for this field coming into this race, seemingly in great form, and based on that pace projector, supposed to have a significant pace advantage in this race. So I did put her on top. I do have that long shot, the number one High Opinion in second, just hoping she can recreate some of the magic from the Ballston Spa last year. She will likely be the best price of anybody in this race. And then the number three, our Flash Drive, just a horse that's in great form right now. Don't want to totally dismiss her, but I do think the technical analysis is just a little bit better than her foes in the grade 2 Ballston Spa on Saturday at Saratoga. Good luck if you're playing the races this weekend.